screen here and introduce to you one of our Junior Giants AmeriCorps Associates from San Francisco. She joined us this past season and was a great addition to our team. And she is going to tell us a little bit more about herself. So I'm going to open the floor to Jenifer Morgan. Hey, Jen, how's it going?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's nice to see some familiar faces. I see Brandon Clare. He was my mentee that I had during our last season. So hi, Brandon. Just a little bit about me. So I am currently a graduate student at the University of San Francisco. I'm studying sport management, and the opportunity to become a Junior Giants Associate Ambassador came through my program. So thanks to my program, I was able to have this awesome opportunity to do the Junior Giants program. I graduated from undergrad from a small state school in upstate New York called SUNY Canton. There, I was a dual sport athlete. I was a resident assistant, and I was also a student ambassador, which basically I gave tours to new students coming on campus. And most of the time I was paired with students who were in the sport management program so I could educate them a little bit on what it's actually all about, because I was in the program. I studied sport management undergrad as well. So I was able to elaborate to new students coming in what it was all about, the ups and maybe some of the little downs, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I was able to have a little bit of in-class before the pandemic took over. So I was very fortunate to create some networking relationships and even see and meet Chrissy in person. I had an interview with her for this position. So I had some before pandemic, and then now I'm still studying hard every day, trying to, have good grades, stay involved, and yeah.
Awesome. Yes, I was so happy that I got to meet Jen before everyone went into quarantine. But Jen, I have a couple questions for you about your undergraduate career. So you had quite a busy plate. So you were a resident assistant, as you were mentioning, and super involved on campus. So tell us a little bit about, maybe some students on the call are trying to balance extracurriculars, even if that means virtual during this time. So how did you stay organized, and how did you kind of navigate that busy schedule?
Number one thing to being organized is having a planner. I have mine right here this is my little work area. You can't really see it all, but having a planner is super important. Even in high school, I was involved in various clubs. I played 3 sports, and there was just lots of other things. So I was super busy in high school, and it was just kind of la-di-da. It wasn't super hard because, you have your teachers and your parents, and you have a lot of help when you're in high school. But in college, it's different. It's very different for you guys because you'll be doing a lot of things virtually, probably. Hopefully you'll get to go on campus, but for the sake of the virtualness, it's important, regardless of being in person or online, to have yourself organized. Make sure that you have a schedule. At this time, I'm gonna go to breakfast, so I have half an hour to eat, and then I have to hop on. I have class at this time, so I have class from here to here. I'm gonna have lunch, and then space out time for yourself to just do nothing maybe, or relax, take a deep breath, and then move on to the next thing. Okay, now I have a meeting with my RD right now, so I need to go meet with her, and then, I'm on duty tonight, so I need to make sure that I have all this done because I'm gonna have to stay in the office for the rest of the night. It's just making sure that you have everything planned out and ready to go, so you're not forgetting anything, or you're not overwhelming yourself with any one task that you have.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what inspired you to study sports management. So you loved it so much during your undergrad career that now you are studying it at a graduate level, but think about back when you were in high school, and maybe the same age as these scholars on the call. What made you really decide that that was going to be your path?
Sports has always been a huge part of my life. Growing up, it was an outlet for me. I'm not much of a homebody, so as much as I could be at school and in the gym practicing I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. So for either one of those, any of those, I was there. I was involved with it. And so when I was deciding on going to college, I was like, well, I definitely want to play sports, but I'm not like a Division 1, like I went to a small D3, so it wasn't like anything super crazy. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to WNBA, I'm not gonna play Beach Olympics. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do because I don't have that that backup to be a sport professional as a player anyways. So that's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Canton. And I was a walk-on for both basketball and volleyball, ended up having a pretty good experience with both of those. But I went in liberal arts, and then I was like, okay, maybe business is the right area. So I switched to business, and I was like, oh, no, this isn't right. And then I was like, you know what, sport management. Like, if I'm not going to be a player for the rest of my life, I want to be involved with it in one way or another. So that's why I chose sport management. And then just having exposure to that and exposure to different areas. Like, there's so many different areas that many of you probably have no idea even existed. But there's so many different areas you can go into, and I discovered that in undergrad, and I was like, you know what, to really educate myself more on what I want to do, because I'm still working that out now. Like, I went to college for 4 years. I'm going to be in grad school for 2. I'm like almost done with my first year. So like, don't be panicked if you don't know exactly what you want to do. But the same thing that who goes to my high school and she's looking at the same college, I was like, don't be afraid. Just research, find what you like, find your passions. It could be something simple, like I use reading as an example. You like to read. Well, you can't make a career out of reading, right? So what goes with reading? Maybe writing, journalism, communications. Like, there's so many different things that you could involve like just one of your passions with, and it's just researching, finding the connections, and finding something that you'll be happy to work around for however many years you decide to work with it.
That's great advice, Jen. And I think that it is really great to remember is you don't have to have it all figured out right when you start college or when you're applying for college either. I switched my major a couple different times before I landed on communication too. So just remember that as you're preparing, it's totally okay to explore a couple classes before deciding on your major. We're going to share our screen. I'm going to have you walk through these tips you provided.
Alrighty, so you know, it's funny, actually, I was taking a break just before this call. I was doing some studying, and it was funny that I was actually following all of these. I sent these to Chrissy a couple days ago, and I do follow them. Important for even just in class or studying, like having any electronics besides the obvious whatever you're using to Zoom or communicate on, you should have them on do not disturb. Like for me, I have my Apple Watch and I have my phone, and of course I might not be on my phone, but if my watch goes off, I'm like, what is that? Let me go look. And it's very distracting, and can be disrespectful to your teachers if they see you on your phone. And it's just not good, and it takes you away from what you're learning. You can miss something. So one of my bigger rules, especially in class, I like to turn my stuff on do not disturb. So like I don't have, or I even take my watch off too, just so I don't have any distractions in that area. It's also important to have your space organized. Like you guys can't see it, but right now I'm like sitting at my desk. I have my light, I have my pens, my notebook, everything just in this area. It's important to have a space special just for your studies and doing class, and to stay away from your bed, because if you do it in your bed, you're going to associate stress and school with bed instead of associating rest and like relax with. Don't mind the dogs in the background if you heard that. But you're associating stress rather than rest and relaxation when you get into your bed. I think it's important to have a glass of water or your choice of beverage. If you like, I have San Pellegrino. That's my seltzer water. I like to have nice ice cold, and I always have my water, just regular water. It's good to stay hydrated. I don't know where you guys are, but in San Francisco, it's pretty dang hot, and I don't have AC, so it's always good to stay hydrated and have your liquids ready to go. One thing that a lot of people don't like to do is take notes. I don't like to take notes, but I do them for me because a lot of the times when, I don't know if it's for everyone, but teachers record the classes, and it's nice because you can go back and you can watch them if you did miss anything. But I think when you're actually in the moment in class, it's good to take as much notes as you can, because when you're writing it down, it kind of sinks it in better for you. Like, oh, I wrote that. Oh, I wrote about, I don't know, the sports organization that they're asking me about in this homework assignment. Like, I remember, right? So it like kind of connects it, like, oh, I wrote that. Now I know what it means, type of thing. So taking notes is important. And also, if you decide to take them on your computer, there's a way that you can split your screen so you can still see the Zoom, and then you can also take notes on your computer if you take them that way. Personally, I prefer to write them out, but whatever your preference is, taking notes is important. And the last 3, take breaks. Taking breaks is so important. Like in class, you might not have a choice, but if you're studying, like there's no way you can study for 3 or 4 hours straight and not be fatigued from it. Like you need to, I think it's good to, I don't know, study for like 30 minutes, take a little break, and then go back to it. So like it kind of, it's like a psychology type of thing. Like you trick yourself, hey, I'm going to study for 30 minutes and my reward is going to be something. I don't know. I like to get up and dance. Sometimes I'll, like, when I focus, I listen to music. And so if a good song comes on, I'm like, okay, it's time for my break. And I'll get up and like do a little dance, or even just get your blood flowing. Do some push-ups, do some squats, do something to take a break that gets your mind off your homework for just a second and gets your blood pumping. Having a snack, that can be part of your break too. I have my almonds right here that I'm gonna snack after this, because you know it's my little snacky snack. And then it doesn't even have to be like anything strenuous. You can literally just go sit on the couch for a couple minutes on your phone if you want, because you know you're supposed to have your electronics off. So like just go sit, do something fun, take a break. That's really important when you're studying. Hopefully that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. And yes, I love a good dance break. There's a fun playlist on Junior Giants On Demand that you can stream. There's a couple of dance challenges on there too. And you might see Jen in some of those videos. She created a lot of awesome content this summer for you all. There's one with her dog. So definitely check it out on the app or at jrgiantsathome.org. But Jen, thank you. You're so wonderful. We really appreciate everything you do for Junior Giants. And we're glad that you were able to join us today.